These topic tests are for you if when you once covered the basic concepts of the given topic. The ideal way of taking this test will be that you take the test, which should take about 25 to 30 minutes, then watch the video for an analysis of the test and solution to all the questions. And the best part is there are more than 200 topic tests available on our Bodhee Prep app, for the app for which is given in the description below. So download the app and you can take a test every day to make sure that your preparation is on track. This video is about the test on averages and mixtures, test number 3, as is mentioned in the app. Now, if we look at this test, the overall level of difficulty for the test will be moderate to difficult. Good attempts in this test would be about 5 questions. And if you're attempting all the questions, you should take about 23 to 25 minutes to be done with all the questions. But again, the 5 questions that we are attempting might happen faster, maybe uh, 15 odd minutes. You should be able to attempt the 5 questions that are the easy ones per se. Now, I'll go question by question and look at every question, the solution, and see whether the question was difficult or not, or the level of difficulty of the question, and whether it should have been attempted if we were writing a test or a timed test or an exam. Question number 1 says, Mr. Santaram has 5 children. Sorry. Mr. Santaram has 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons. 5 years ago, the combined ages of his daughters was thrice that of his sons. So this is today. 5 years ago would be t minus 5, and 5 years hence will be t plus 5. The combined age of his daughters will be twice that of his sons if the present age of Mr. Santaram's youngest child is at least 6 years. What is the present average age of the uh, children of his 5 children? Average age of the children today is to be found out. Suppose the 3 daughters had a total age of x years t minus 5 years ago, and the 2 sons had a total age of y years. Today, 15 will get added to each of, or 5 will get added to each of the daughters' age, and therefore the daughter's total age will become x plus 15, 5 for each of the daughter, and 5 will get added to each of the sons' age. So today their ages will be y plus 10. 5 years hence, again 15 gets added to daughters' ages, therefore their total sum will become x plus 30. For the sons, it will become y plus 20. 10 years, 5 plus 5 get added to 5, y plus 10, the total age of the sons. In the first case, it is given that 5 years ago, the combined ages of his daughters x was thrice that of his son, so x was 3y. And 5 years hence, the combined ages of his daughters, that is x plus 30, will be twice that of his sons. That is twice of y plus 20. I'm replacing x by 3y, so 3y plus 30 is equal to 2y plus 40, which will give us y as 10. Y 3y minus 2y is equal to 40 minus 30, y is equal to 10. So here the ages will be 10 plus 10, which is 20. Here the ages will be x will be 3y, so x becomes 30, y is 10, and therefore 45. So the total ages of the children today will be 45 plus 20, which is 65, and therefore their average will be 65 upon 5, which is 13 years old. The youngest son is 6 years, at least 6 years old. Even if the youngest son is one of them, 6 plus 14 is 20, so that is possible. Hence, the average age comes out to 13 years. Now, in terms of level of difficulty, this question would be a moderate level of difficulty. There is chance of confusion happening when we're adding ages. So, in terms of concepts, there are 2 concepts used. First is that of average, and then how ages are applied when we talk of average, or how ages for a group changes over the years. Ideally, about 3 minutes should be taken to attempt this question. Whether I should do this in the examination or not depends on my overall attempt, but I'll look at the other questions and then take a call on this. 2 varieties of powder costing 240 per kg and 160 per kg. 240 and 160 rupees per kg are mixed in certain ratios to obtain 2 new varieties, which are P and Q. Now, P and Q are mixed in the ratio 2:1. to obtain another variety R, which in turn is sold at 247, earning a profit of 30% if P costs 180. So P, which costs 180 rupees, it is mixed with Q in the ratio 2 is to 1, according to the question. And therefore, there is an average price that we get. What is that price? That is the cost price of the third variety, which is R. Now it is given that selling price of R is 247 rupees and profit is 30%. So using the concept of profit loss discount, we can say that the cost price of R, this is all for R, cost price of R will be selling price upon 1 plus 30 upon 100. CP into 1 plus P% upon 100 is equal to SP. So CP comes out to 247 by 1.3. This will be 13 ones are 13, 11739. 190 rupees. That means when P and Q are combined in the ratio 2 is to 1, the price, effective price comes out to 190. This difference is 10. The ratio has to be 2 is to 1. So this difference should be 20 because 1 corresponds to 10. So 2 will be 20. And since the price of P is less than 190, price of Q will be more than 190. So the price of Q becomes 190 plus 20, which is 210. We have to find out the ratio in which two varieties should be mixed to obtain Q. Now Q was formed when powder at rupees 240 and 160 was mixed. The price of Q that we got is 210. So in what ratio the two varieties should be mixed? We take the difference here, it comes out to 30. We take the difference here, comes out to 50. So the ratio in which the two varieties has to be mixed is 50 is to 30 or 5 is to 3. Wherever we are using alligation, we can also use the formula for weighted average and get the answer. But typically, alligation will give us the answer quicker, and therefore, option B. Now, this question again would be a moderate level of difficulty question. Uses a basic concept of profit loss discount. Majorly, alligation is used. Uh, the solving time should be somewhere around 2.5 minutes. If you're able to identify that you don't have to get into how P is formed. So that will reduce the time. Should this be attempted in the exam? I think conceptually no major concept is used. So yes, it could be attempted in the exam. The cost price of two varieties of rice differ by 12. So if one of the cost price or one of the varieties priced at X, the other is priced at X plus 12. Ram, a shopkeeper, mixes these two varieties in a certain ratio. Say it is mixed in the ratio A is to B. In that case, the mixed resultant cost price is 18 per kg. If instead Ram mixes the two varieties in the inverse ratio, that is B is to A, in that case, the resultant mixture is 26 rupees per kg. Find the cost price of the less expensive variety. And therefore, we can say in the first case, AX plus B into X plus 12. That is X A kgs at rupees X and B kgs rupees X at X plus 12 is taken. We get an average price of 18 for the entire weight. So 18 into A plus B. In the second case, B kgs of X, so the total price will be BX. A kgs of X plus 12 price, so A into X plus 12 will give an overall price of 26 A plus B. We want to remove X from here. Basically, there are two, we want to find out the cost price of the less expensive variety. So one of the variables will have to be removed or we'll have to find out the ratio and then work with the options. But again, this creates a problem. A better approach here is to simply understand if we mix these two varieties. What will happen is we will have A plus B kg of the first the cheaper kind, A plus B kg of the more expensive kind. Also, since equal weight of both is being mixed, here also the total weight is A plus B, here also the total weight is A plus B. The average price of this will simply be 18 plus 26 by 2. So when we mix the two new mixtures, the average price, because the weight of the both of them will be same, A kgs of A of the first kind, B of the second, B of the first kind, A of the second. Total weight is A plus B. The average weight that we'll get is 18 plus 26 by 2, which will become rupees 22 kgs. Now, if we look at the combination, so this 22 rupees per kg mixture has A plus B kgs of the rice. of which is rupees x per kg, and it has a plus b kgs of rice, which is rupees x plus 12 per kg, and overall price is 22. So when these two are mixed in the ratio 1:1, we get the price as 22. So we can easily say that both these prices will be equidistant from 22. Since the difference between them is 12, we can say that the difference here will be 6 and here will be 6. So this will be 16 and this will be 28. What will be the cost price of the less expensive variety? Less expensive variety will be rupees 16 per kg. Again, all we have to do is mix the two kinds, and because of equal weights, which are inverse ratio, we will get the two averages. Therefore, in terms of level of difficulty, I would say moderate to difficult, because if we try to solve this, it becomes pretty taxing. Otherwise, should take about 2.5 minutes to solve the question. And if this does not strike, it is a difficult question. Otherwise, a moderate question could be left in the examination. But if in any case this does not strike, then what do we do? If we have to solve this equation again, though it looks a little frightening, it should not be very difficult. What I'm doing is I'm subtracting 1 from 2. So 2 has bx, ax plus 12a. From this we subtract ax, bx minus 12b. Here it is, we have a plus b common, 26 minus 18, so 8 into a plus b. So this will give us bx cancel, ax cancel. This was 12a, sorry. So 12a minus 12b is equal to 8a plus 8b, which means 4a is equal to 20b, which means a is equal to 5b. If we substitute in it, say in the first equation, we'll get ax plus b can, sorry, a is equal to 5b. A can be written as 5bx plus b into x plus 12 plus 18 into 5b plus b. B can get cancelled from the entire equation. Therefore, 5x plus x plus 12 is equal to 18 into 6. So this equation here I'm writing on the extreme right side. 6x plus 12 is equal to 18 into 6 is 108, which means 6x is equal to 96, which means x is equal to 16. So the cheaper variety comes out to 16 rupees per kg. Both alcohol and vinegar evaporate at a constant rate upon boiling, and vinegar evaporates at 3/5 of the rate of alcohol. At 12:10, Sanjana started boiling a mixture of alcohol and vinegar containing 60% alcohol in order to reduce the concentration of alcohol to 40%. However, she had to take a pause and make an urgent call of at 12:20. So 10 minutes have passed, by which time the concentration of alcohol had reduced to 50%. If she resumed the proceedings at 12:28, at what time was the desired concentration of alcohol achieved? So let us look at the 10-minute period, the first 10-minute period. If the reduction in alcohol is 5x% in 10 minutes, the reduction in vinegar would be 3/5 of this. That is 3 by 5 of 5x, which is 3x%. After this time, alcohol is 50%, so vinegar would be 50%. So we can say that alcohol and vinegar would be same in quantity. Suppose I'm starting with 100 ml of the solution, which means 60 ml was alcohol, 40 ml was vinegar. This is the starting point. So after 10 minutes, what will happen is alcohol left will be 60 into 1 minus 5x upon 100. 5x gets removed, 1 minus 5x will be remaining. So initial value into multiplying factor. This is 50%. So this should be equal to the amount of vinegar left, which will be initial value into 1 minus 3x upon 100. If we solve this, dividing each side by 20, 3 into 100 minus 5x by 100 into 2 into 100 minus 3x by 100. So 100 gets cancelled from the denominator. Therefore, 300 minus 15x is equal to 200 minus 6x, which means 15 minus 6, 9x is equal to 100, or x is equal to 100 by 9. And therefore, we can say that in 10 minutes, alcohol reduction is 5x% or 5 into 100 by 9, which is 500 by 9%. which can be written as in fraction 5 by 9. Value of 5x will be 500 by 9. This is a percentage. To reduce percentage to fraction, we divide by 100. So in 10 minutes, reduction in alcohol is 5 by 9 of the starting value. This is what we now know. Now, at this point, after 1228, again, the evaporation starts. Suppose by the time alcohol becomes 40%, the reduction in alcohol is 5y%, which means reduction in vinegar will be 3y% because rate is 3/5. So at this point in time, we can say that the amount of alcohol left here will be 60 into 1 minus 5 by 9 because x was 100 by 9. So 60 into 9, 4 by 9, which will be 240 by 9. So alcohol left was 240 by 9 into 1 minus 5y upon 100. Alcohol and alcohol and vinegar left were same. So vinegar would be 240 by 9 into 1 minus 3y by 100. After this reduction happens, alcohol and vinegar have to be 40 in the ratio 40 is to 60 or 2 by 3. So 240 by 9 will actually get cancelled out. So we will get 100 minus 5y upon 100 minus 3y is equal to 2 by 3, or 300 minus 15y is equal to 200 minus 6y. 15 minus 6 is 9y is equal to 100. So y has to be 100 by 9. And therefore reduction in alcohol requires 500 by 9%, which is nothing but 5 by 9 in fraction. 5 by 9 reduction happens in alcohol in 10 minutes. So after 1228, another 10 minutes will be required, and the uh, required percentage of alcohol will be hit at 12:38 p.m. Now, clearly, I think this is a difficult question. Even if we are able to solve every step, it should take about 3 to 4 minutes easily based on mixtures. But there is a lot of areas where confusion can happen. For example, when we talk of the rate here, whether the rate is per minute or is it per 10 minutes, whether the rate is in ml or percentage. So there are a lot of reasons for confusion. Certainly not a question that should be looked at in the exam. In a class comprising 60 boys and some girls, the average age of boys average age is 14.8. The number of boys is 60 in total. This is number, this is average age 14.8 years. And that of girls is 14.1. If the average of the class is 14.7. So when we combine the average of boys and girls, the overall average that we get is 14.7. Then taking the difference here, we get 0.1. Taking the difference here, we get 0.6. So the number of boys and girls has to be in the ratio 0.6 is to 0.1 or 6 is to 1. Because the number of boys is 60, which is 10 times of 6, the number of girls has to be 10 times of 1, that is 10 becomes the answer. Or you can simply say 60 into average height of boys plus number of girls. N into average height of girls upon number of boys 60 plus n should be equal to the overall average, which means 60 into 14.8 plus n into 14.1 upon 60 plus n is equal to 14.7. Solving, we'll get the value of n is 10, and therefore easy question, direct application of alligation should not take more than 45 odd seconds to solve. Definitely an exam question. During a fundraiser event for the elderly people, apart from the members of the organizing committee, a huge number of volunteers also donated some amount. The members of the organizing committee, say OC, made an average contribution of rupees 1100, and this sum comprised 88% of the total amount raised. Of the total amount raised, this was 88%. The number of members of the organizing committee is 40% more than the volunteers. So there are two groups, volunteers and organizing committee. If the number of volunteers is 10, the number of organizing committee is 40% more. 40% of 10 will be 4, and therefore number of organizing committee members is 14. 4 plus 10. This is the number. This is their average contribution. This is the number of people. This is the average contribution. Now, the organizing committee members contributed 88% of the sum. Therefore, the volunteers would have contributed 12% of the sum. Now, what is the total sum of money by the organizing committee? By organizing committee OC. This is nothing but 14 into 1100. Total sum by the organizing committee is 88% of the overall total. Or we just write it as total. This is equal to 14 into 1100. If I divide everything by 11, we will get 8% of the total contribution is equal to 14 into 100, dividing everything by 11. Multiplying here we are dividing by 11, now we are multiplying this by 1.5. 8 into 1.5, 12% of the total contribution will be 14 into 100 into 1.5. 14 into 100 into 1.5. This can be written as 14 into 150. 14 into 150 would be 14 14s are 96 plus 14 210. So 2100. We know that 12% of the total was a contribution by volunteers. This means total sum by volunteers is equal to 2100. The number of volunteers is 10. Find the average contribution made by the volunteers. Average contribution of volunteers will be total contribution by them upon number, which will come out to 210. This question I would rate as a easy to moderate question. Easy for the simple reason that this kind of a question has been asked in CAT earlier, and therefore, while practicing, you'll come across this question several times. The calculations are not very difficult, and therefore I'm saying easy. Otherwise, if you're doing it for the first time, then probably moderate. But for someone who's done such a question, should be able to solve this within 1.5 to 2 minutes. Probably something that you should look to do in the exam because it is a repeat question. A raindrop consists of 75% water and rest dust. However, by the time it reaches the surface of the earth, it is left with 70% water as 2 ml water evaporates. So initially the raindrop, assuming this is the raindrop, this has 75% water, 25% dust. Suppose the volume of this raindrop is X. By the time it hits the ground, it has become smaller because some water has evaporated. 2 ml water is evaporated. So now suppose the volume left is X minus 2 ml because 2 ml water goes away during the journey. 70% of this is water and therefore 30% of this will be dust. Only water evaporates, therefore the volume of dust has to remain same. So we can say 25% of X is equal to 30% of X minus 2. Amount of dust remains same, it will not evaporate, which means 25X is equal to 30X minus 60, which means 5X is equal to 60 or X is equal to 12. So the initial volume of the raindrop would be 12 ml. Option A becomes the answer. 12 ml, 75 is 3/4. So it had 9 ml of water and 3 ml of dust. 2 ml water evaporated in the way, and therefore 9 minus 2, 7 ml of water is left. Dust is as it is 3 ml, 7 plus 3 is 10, which means 2 ml. So the numbers kind of match. So 8, 12 ml becomes the answer. Again, while practicing, you would have come across this kind of a question where a part is removed and the percentage change is different because the overall value changes. Easy question should not take more than 1.5 minutes to solve. Ideally, 75 seconds should be good enough to solve the question. Definitely an exam question. From a solution that has milk and water in the ratio 5:3, X% is removed and replaced with water. X% is removed and replaced with water. Because water is added, we can use the removal replacement formula for milk. The concentration of milk in the resulting solution lies between 30 and 50. Concentration of milk. Which of the following best describes the value of X? X%. Okay. Now, if the concentration of milk is 30%, we can say that the final concentration, which is 3/10, is equal to initial concentration 5/8 for milk into 1 minus percentage removed. The formula for removal replacement. final fraction is equal to initial fraction into 1 minus removal. When X% is removed and then replaced with water, so we are writing the formula for milk. So this will mean cross multiply 24 by 50. 24 by 50 is equal to 1 minus X%, which means X% will be equal to 1 minus 24 by 50, which will be 26 by 50. This can be written as 52 by 100, which means X% is equal to 52 by 100. So the value of X will be at most 52. X has to be less than 52 since the ratio does not reach 30. It is less than 30. So X will be less than 52. Similarly, if we try to get the volume of milk as 50, we will say final volume of milk is 5 by 10. 50% means 550 by 100, 5 by 10 or 1 by 2. So we write 1 by 2. Final fraction is equal to initial fraction of milk 5 by 8 into 1 minus X%. So this will become cross multiply or cancel out here. 4 by 5 is equal to 1 minus X%. So X% will be equal to 1 minus 4 by 5, which is 1 by 5. If X% is 1 by 5, this means X is equal to 20% multiplied by 100. So the value of X has to lie between 20 and 52, so that the overall concentration of milk finally lies between 30 and 50. We take the extreme values and solve for that. The range has to be between the values that we get. Again, a moderate level of question. If you are clear with the removal replacement formula, just putting the values might take some time because two different values will have to be calculated. So the solution time may be a little high, but otherwise conceptually not very difficult. Swami, a milkman has 100 liters of milk and water solution that contains 70% milk. 100 liters of milk and water solution that contains 70 liters milk. So 70% means 70% of 100 is 70 liters milk, 30 liters water. What quantity of water should be added? So we are adding water to this so that to bring down the concentration of milk is 40%. If the amount of water added is W, and now milk and water are in the ratio of 40 and 60%, the amount of milk will remain same. Amount of milk initially was 70 liters. So we can say that 70 liters should be 40% of the final volume. Final volume will be 100 liters of the solution plus water that is added. So from here we can write 70 is equal to 40 by 100 into 100 plus W. 0, 0 cancel. So 700 cross multiply is equal to 400 plus 4W, which means 4W is equal to 300, or W is equal to 300 by 4, which is 75. So the amount of water that needs to be added is 75. Once we add 75 liters, the total volume becomes 175, and 40% of 175 will be 68 and 70 liters. So the amount of milk will remain constant. Again, easy question, multiple ways of doing it. We could also have started by saying, say, we could also have used ratios. We could have said 70 liters of milk, 30 liters of water. We add water to it now. The ratio becomes 40 by 60. We could use ratios. We could use the concept of mixtures, keeping the volume same. Multiple ways of doing it. But again, an easy question should not take more than maybe 90 odd seconds, maximum to 2 minutes. Definitely a question which could be done in a timed test. The average of 5 natural numbers is 150. A particular number among the 5 exceeds another by 100. So if one of the numbers is x, the other is x plus 100. The rest 3 numbers lie between these two numbers and they are equal. So the rest 3 numbers are y, y, and y. How many different values can the largest among the 5 take? So basically x plus 3y plus x plus 100 is the sum of the 5 numbers, and this would be the average of 5 natural numbers is 150. So their sum will be average into number. 5 numbers average 150. So we can write 2x plus 3y plus 100 is equal to 750, which means 2x plus 3y is equal to 650. Now y lies between the two numbers, and therefore we can say that x has to be less than y. Now, if we look at solutions for x and y, the point where x and y are equal, we will get 2x plus 3x is equal to 650, or 5x is equal to 650, x is equal to 130. If x is 130, y would be 130. That would not be an acceptable solution. The next solution is when we reduce x and increase y, because x has to be less than y. We subtract 3 from here, 127, and add 2 here. So this becomes 132. So this could be one solution. 127 into 2, 254, 396, 650. So from here, solutions will start. The next could be, again, we subtract 3. So this becomes 124, and this becomes one. The solutions will go in cross steps. So we'll keep subtracting 3 on one side, adding 2 on the other side, 134. So this could be one solution for x and y, and so on. Now, y has to be less than x plus 100, which means x minus y has to be y has to be less than x plus 100. So we can write y minus x has to be less than 100. X comes on the left hand, y minus x has to be less than 100. So this difference between the solution of y minus x has to be less than 100. Here the difference is 0. Here the difference becomes 5. Here it becomes 10. So at every step, the difference will increase by 5. So if this process is repeated 20 times, that is, we subtract 20 times 2 from here. So we will reach a point where this becomes 20 times 2 if removed from 130. 40 will, we are removing 3 here, sorry. 20 times 3 is removed, 60. So we'll get 70 here. Correspondingly, 20 times 2 will be added, so we'll get 170. This will be the extreme solution at the other end. 2x, 2 into 70, 140, 3 into 150, 3 into 170, 510, 650. Now again, at this point, y is 170, x plus 100 will be 170. This is also not a solution. The one before that, that is, and this, when this would have been 73, and this would have been, we are adding to 168. Those will be the last solution. So x can take any value from 127 to 173. 127 to 173, x can take any value. Correspondingly, x plus 100 will have a value and y will have a value. So the first value that x can take is 127, then 124, and so on till 73. This is 130 minus 3. This is 130 minus 7, 57, which is 130 minus 19 into 3. So 130 into 130 minus 1 into 3, last is 130 minus 19 into 3. So 19 solutions are possible. Now, clearly, this is a question which will take good amount of time to solve, because not only does this have a concept of average, it also checks your ability to find out number of solutions, which is part of algebra. So, pretty much a question which was there in this year's CAT, almost like that. A moderate to difficult level of question. The ideal time again 3 minutes, but it can go up to 4 minutes as well. In the exam, maybe not a question which might be left in the examination unless you're trying to attempt very high number of questions. So, so in terms of analysis, continuing with what we started this test with, as you can see, the overall level of difficulty was moderate to difficult. In this test, a good attempt would be 5 questions. So when I say good attempt, we're looking at a 90-92 percentile. You should be able to get that easily with 5 questions. If you're solving the entire paper, you could look at a time of about 23 to 25 minutes. The questions that should have been attempted would be 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 9. Based on, again, to get these 5 questions, you could be attempting out of these 6 questions. Just to show you which these questions are: 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 9. This was a question that could have been attempted. The average age of the children. This was a question that could have been attempted. Allegation to be put in twice. This was an easy question. Direct allegation application. This was a question which is a repeat question, so should have been attempted. Again, an easy question. You would have done similar question, but again, just one equation to be written, and then this one, where we just had to write an equation very similar to the question number 7. So these would be good attempt questions in this paper or in this test.